Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans and you're watching the John Cedars channel from the bunker, and in this video we absolutely must talk about a newly released morning worship video. Anthony Morris III, Jehovah well knows how we are formed. It is quite an extraordinary video. Well, it's certainly one of the weirdest videos that Watchtower has knowingly put out for public consumption. You guys absolutely need to see this. So without further ado, let's roll the first clip.
So you think about these times we're living in, it affects God's people as well. You see the pandemic causing people, according to some reports, to have even their dreams affected. So you think of how busy we are, the governing bodies, doing the best to give direction to other branches, specific direction related to their particular circumstances. But see, it's good to focus on the future, especially if you start to feel anxious about circumstances. And when I thought I'd share with you some comments from the Pure Worship book, what a gift that was for all of Jehovah's people. And some of these comments are coming from chapter 9, paragraphs 35 and 36, and it'll help us to focus on the future. Here's the promise. And I will make a covenant of peace with them, and I will rid the land of vicious wild beasts, so that they may dwell securely in the wilderness and sleep in the forest. Now, can you picture that? A land free of vicious wild beasts, sleeping in the forest? Well, that's what Jehovah promises. Can you picture that? Well, our hardworking art department has helped us a lot. Notice this beautiful piece of artwork found in the Pure Worship book. Now you have to, with the larger one on a television screen, you see it easier. Sometimes you look at this picture, you have the fireflies that are going around, full moon, it's beautiful. But with the larger picture, you're not going to miss what so many could miss by not focusing on the beautiful picture here and the details in it. Because up above her now, you'll see her sleeping securely, young sister here, and the trees right above her head. But do you see what's right up above there? If you look carefully, there it is, a leopard. And it could be missed so easily, especially in the book we have. And you got to see his left arms hanging there, male or female, don't know for sure, but it's a leopard.
But it isn't really, is it, Tony? This is a leopard. This is a panther. So he keeps talking about this depiction of paradise from the Pure Worship book. I actually have the book Pure Worship of Jehovah Restored at Last. The illustration he's referring to is on page 111. So this is how it looks in the book itself. I'm not seeing any leopard markings on the panther. Yes, it's a beautiful image, but I just find it bizarre that Tony Morris should zero in on this particular image. Apparently being able to sleep in the woods is something that you cannot possibly do until there has been global genocide and everyone who isn't a Jehovah's Witness has been slaughtered.
But it's a leopard. And he's sleeping. She's sleeping.
Am I the only one who's a little bit creeped out by Tony's apparent fixation on this particular image out of many, many images, hundreds of images in this particular book? And the one he's most interested in is the one where there is a young girl sleeping. I feel like he's taking us on a tour of a girl's bedroom while she's sleeping, and I feel like we're stood here in a situation that we really shouldn't be in, watching this girl sleeping. Again, why is he so interested? What's the significance of the picture? The girl really is the focus.
You could just hear some of the sounds of other insects that might be in the forest here. Secure. Amazing. And then over to the right of the picture as we look at it, see the owl? Not a worry at all. Now you're looking at the leopard. What's he thinking? Well, animals don't think like humans. Maybe he's saying, boy, there he is asleep already again. But everybody's secure. Now, that's going to happen in the future. Jehovah promises it. So how grateful we are for this beautiful piece of artwork. Let that just absorb every cell in your body, absorb that beautiful thought, meditate on it. Especially as there's so many that love the outdoors, others that maybe grew up in cities, you're going to learn to love it. That'll assure you of. But that's the future Jehovah has for his people. Meditate on it. So we entreat you to focus on the future, and more opposition's coming. Let's face the facts. There are issues that we're going to have to deal with. We'll just wait and see. But see, don't focus on the problems. Deal with it. Follow the direction from the organization. These are critical times. They are hard to deal with, but focus on Jehovah's promises for the future.
Again, this has to be one of the most bizarre videos Watchtower has ever knowingly made public. Granted, the Pillowgate is a whole new level of weird, but Pillowgate wasn't intended to be leaked to the public. That got leaked, obviously, on my channel. But this is intentional. You know, if you'd have told me when I was still a Jehovah's Witness years ago, one day the faithful slave is going to produce a video talking about how you'll be able to sleep in the forest, in the paradise, and dwelling on the thoughts of an owl. There's just no way I would have believed you, because I considered the organization to be quite scholarly and serious, and this just seems to be utter self-indulgence on Anthony Morris's part. In fact, I think this video has only been given the green light for release on jw.org because Anthony Morris is on the teaching committee, and probably no one had the heart to say, Tony, do you really want us to put this on jw.org straight away? Apparently, by the way, this was filmed. Arthur looked into this for me. This was filmed as recently as May 20th, based on the day's text that he is considering. So this is fairly recent. It's been rushed through by the organization. And again, I can only think, well, this is Tony Morris putting his foot down and saying, oh, yeah, everyone needs to hear this. Everyone needs to hear me talking about a girl sleeping under a tree with a leopard above her and thinking about what's on the owl's mind.
Now you're looking at the leopard. What's he thinking? Well, animals don't think like humans. Maybe he's saying, boy, there he is asleep already again.
If I had to guess what's on the owl's mind, it must be something along the lines of, I am completely starving. Because owls, you probably know this, owls are carnivores. In the paradise, animals will apparently no longer be carnivores, so this owl won't have had a meal in quite some time. He's probably looking at the panther thinking, well, he's dead. Panthers, too, are carnivores. These are animals that apparently will change their entire being. They will cease looking for prey. Owls exclusively eat either insects or small rodents, depending on the size of the owl. These are creatures that nature has adapted to feed on other creatures. And in the paradise, they're only going to be able to eat plants. This owl has been eating only plants So has the panther, not leopard, panther. And then you have this bizarre wording, let that just absorb every cell in your body.
Let that just absorb every cell in your body, absorb that beautiful thought, meditate on it.
Well, I think I know what every cell in Tony's body was absorbed in when he was giving this ridiculous sermon. I realise lots of you perhaps won't agree with me when I point to what I consider to be clear examples of inebriation. You could say it must be the medication, it must be his age. Look, you go and watch the morning worship video in full. He slurs from the starting gun. He slurs from the very first word they show in the clip. And he just goes on this crazy ramble. As far as I'm concerned, you'd have to be hammered to give this sermon. It's not the sort of sermon where if you were given the script, you'd sit down and you'd be reading it. You'd be reading it and you'd be thinking, do you really want me to say this? Let that just absorb every cell in your body. I'm sorry. Let's be frank. This guy is toasted. And I think the only reason why this video has been put on jw.org, again, fast-tracked. Arthur was telling me they don't even have translated versions of this video on jw.org yet. It must be because Tony Morris has put his foot down. I can't think of any other reason. Would anyone else on the teaching committee think, yes, this is the video we need to put out? A video about young girls sleeping in forests with big cats above them and owls and fireflies. That's what the brothers need to be watching. I'm sorry. More likely, Tony Morris is very proud of this material and wants everyone to see it. But that's pretty much it. I just had to share this with you. It's just a crazy, crazy video. Again, with apocalyptic doomsday undertones, because he's talking about how witnesses can expect more opposition coming. But don't worry, the way to get over your apprehension about what lies ahead is to dwell on the fact that at some future point you will be able to sleep in the forest. You can't do that now, apparently. Actually, Jehovah's Witnesses probably can't do that now, because most Jehovah's Witnesses, as far as I'm aware, are just in this constant state of busyness. The organisation keeps them on this hamster wheel where they don't have any time to themselves. They don't have the time to just go on long hikes, to go camping, to go backpacking. Sleeping in the forest is something anyone can do. Granted, it's not advisable to sleep in a forest where there are panthers. But if you really want to sleep under a tree, go do it. Nothing is stopping you. And unless you're doing that on the African savannah or in other parts of the world where there are big cats, you're not going to be woken up with your arm being mauled off. It's just crazy that this needs to be said. But that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the John Cedars channel for more such videos. And as always, thank you for watching.